Razor Gang, what is good? We're back again with another video. I'm bringing you some heat today. We're going to be switching it up on my boy. He's got long hair right now, as you can tell, and he wanted a complete transformation. Him and I had consulted a little bit before this. We were going through different styles. I mean, he could pretty much do any possible style that he wanted. His hair was that long. And we decided to go with a bald taper for the first time we cut his hair down. And we should have just left it like this and just faded the top right on and did a reverse fade on it. Look at this dude looking crazy. But so we decided to go with the taper. Believe we're going to be doing a mid taper today. It's not going to be too high. It's his first time getting a haircut since 2014. So it's been about 6-7 years since he's gotten his last cut. So what I did right there is I had a 3-guard and I went with the grain and I just took it all down, and then his hair was pushed back for so long. I took him to the wash bowl and I actually washed his hair just so that I'm able to put everything down flat, and I'm able to get it all laying down, and his hair looks so spotty right now, but it's just it's I guess like the diameter, the thickness of the actual hair strand itself isn't very thick. It's more of a thin hair follicle, but the density per inch, like per square inch, is thick. So it's got a unique hair texture, but it ain't gonna be no issue for us, gang. So right there, I was just taking everything down, laying everything flat, brushing it, and I wanted to get it to the desired length up top all around the head so it's easier for me to work on the canvas. So right here, I'm just creating my bald line, and I'm only going towards the top of the ear. I'm not going to take it any higher than that with my bald line, and I wanted to have it arched a little bit, just so that it does give it some shape. Sometimes I'll go straight across, or I'll add a little arch, or maybe just do a triangle type of guideline for the first line, but just arched it this time, kept it simple. And now I've got my lever all the way open, and I'm just creating that initial guideline after that bald line. And what I'll do after that is just blend it on in, and I'll slowly be closing my lever until I get that blend, all the way out. And remember, guys, don't blend it up too high, because you don't want to chase a guideline. You don't want to keep pushing that guideline higher. So always keep in mind where your previous blending was. So if you close it halfway and you only go up about 1/2 inch, once you close that lever, you're not going to want to go higher than 1/2 inch, so that you can take down the hair beneath that that line that you were just trying to blend out. So this right here, I'm almost done. Blending in that bald guideline that I had set in. So after this, I will be switching. I think I go with the 1.5, but just going slow, making sure to take my time. He hasn't had a haircut in forever, so he just keeps telling me, "Oh man, these clippers feel so weird on my head. I'm not used to this," and we're laughing the whole time. Just having a good little experience with him, catching up. It's been a while since I've seen him. I haven't gotten to have him in my chair in so long. Dude never gets his cut, and now I got him every 2 weeks, so keep those friends close. Right here, just going in with my 1.5. I got it open at first, and I'm slowly just going to close that lever and work down to my 1-guard like I am right now. So as you can see, it's already pretty blended. Doesn't take much to blend in that taper, but what I like about doing tapers is because you are working with such a small area, you're able to pack in a lot of detailing work and a lot of flicking motions within that temple region, and you can really make a taper stand out. So just always be mindful to flick out. Try not to just go straight up and down on the head. Make sure to bring that clipper out in towards you. Right here, just doing a little bit of detail work with my 1/2 guard. I had it open, and I just was slowly closing it, this way I was able to get it down to that bald guideline. And I'm just doing the same steps right on the other side, creating that little arch, and I'll be balding that out with my Gold FX Babyliss trimmers. Just not pushing too hard on the skin and on the head. I don't want to scratch him, don't want to irritate the skin. He hasn't had a haircut in so long, so I'm trying to be mindful of that. And what I'll also be doing is I'm going to be speeding it up a little bit, just so that you don't have to see the same exact process on each side. So it'll be sped up some as we're going through. Right here, I got my lever all the way open, still creating that, that initial guideline. And I actually skipped blending in the bottom line first. I just wanted to try something a little bit different on this side. Right now I'm going straight at it with my 1.5 guard all the way open. And I'm just following the same steps, same process on the other side from here on out. Gonna have each guard that I use open first, create another guideline, and I'm actually not even creating a guideline. I'm just blending in that top guideline into the bottom guideline by slowly working different guards. So as you can see, just getting some extra long hairs that were behind his ear that I may have missed. I'm just taking my time, not going too fast. But remember, it is in a smaller area, so you are able to move more efficiently, and you're also to put in more detail work. Right now, I got my one guard all the way open, just slowly gonna be closing it until I have that lever all the way closed. And once I'm done with that, believe I'm going to blend that bottom line out, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure I'm gonna have my guard off, and I'll be knocking out that bottom line, and then should be following up with my half guard. But going through playing this back and doing a voiceover, so let's see what I'm doing. Yep, yeah, I got the got the lever all the way open right now. Just slowly knocking out that line. Gonna be working that lever all the way closed until I knock out that line. And make sure, I always say it, make sure that you're staying beneath the most previous line that you just did. So if you only went up 1/4 of an inch, make sure to stay below 1/4 inch once you close that lever a little bit more. So you just got to be mindful of where you're at, where you're blending on the head, and always make sure to take a step back and look and see what that blend's looking like. And another tip, always use the mirror. I'm looking in the mirror almost every 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I'm at least checking in the mirror, making sure. Okay, maybe not 5, 10 seconds, but every time I'm stopping, I'm always looking in the mirror, just to make sure, because that blend looks a little bit different. When you're up close for such a long period of time, your eye will miss certain shadows, certain lines, certain depths. The mirror don't lie. So the mirror will always tell you if there's a dark spot. It'll always show you a dark spot. It'll show you an imperfection. It'll show you, where a line may be present that you can't see with your eye. And when you see it, one thing I'll do is I'll stick my finger right where that imperfection is, or where the darkness or where a line is when I'm looking in the mirror. And then I'll look back and see where that's at, and then I'll knock it out. But when you do knock out other lines and you're detailing, depending on where it's at in that blend, you may want to change your guard, put a bigger guard on, because you don't want to accidentally take too much off. So if you need to, put on a higher guard and then work down. And I actually didn't even use my half guard right there, because I had already blended that and flicked it out. So sometimes you can guard skip, you can get away with it. I was able to right there, but sometimes you can't. Now I'm working in the back of the head, just hitting that back taper, and I'm just going to be going into it with my lever open. And I originally set in the closed guideline, and then I set in that open guideline. So what I'm doing right now is, again, just slowly closing the lever and blending down until I remove that line. And once you do that, just go to the next step. I know some people like to blend up with the guards, but what I typically do is I create the bottom line, and then I blend down. And it all depends on if there's a lot of bulk, depends on what I'm blending into as well. So there's a bunch of different methods for every kind of haircut, every hairstyle, and you just got to find out what works best for you. And if there's any other kind of blending techniques you'd like to see me do, let me know and I can do it in the comments. Not do it in the comments. I can do it in the video. For the next video, you know, I can switch things up, maybe try something different. If there's different blends or techniques or any other kind of tricks you'd like to see, you know, leave it in the comments below and we'll get it happening. Ooh, happening. Yeah, y'all ever say they ever like mix two words together? I meant to say I'll get it popping, or I was gonna say get it happening, and it came out happening. So forgive me on that. But right here I got my 1.5 guard open, and I'm just going up to about. I'm actually going up midway on the head right now because there's quite a bit of dark spots that the 3.5 detachable didn't get. So I'm just lightening it up a little bit. I'm not going to actually be blending that high with my other guidelines and my other guards. I'm just lightening up the area and then going to blend down. Alright, and right here we got that one guard all the way open. Just still lightening up that area. That's not going to be the main focal point of where I'm blending. It's still a little bit dark compared, because you could see his skull. You could like see the skin on the skull on top of the head, just because it's not the most dense hair, but I just wanted to lighten it up a little bit, and just, you know, work that area so that it's not as dark and the blend looks a little bit more stretched than what it normally would be, because I don't have it as a very tight blend. It's more of a stretched out taper in the back. So as you can see, there's still a light indentation of hair at the bottom. You can see that darkness, and I'm just going to be slowly closing that lever, flicking out until that, you know, bottom line is gone. And right here I got my half guard on, still staying under my previous guard, keeping it open and slowly working it closed so that you can get that bottom line out. And it may not look like it, but I try to use the corners the best I can and the most I can. It looks like the clipper is flat on the skull, or on the skin, but I'm using like that right corner and left corner most of the time for the haircuts. He wasn't expecting the hairspray. I like to use Got to Be to lay the hair down, and then I'll brush it and I'll tap it with the liners, and then after that, once I hit that line, it comes out crispy. It's just the magic of a little bit of dry skin, a little bit of hairspray or holding spray, and it just pops. It's a secret if you don't know. Cat's out the bag. Right here, I'm just hitting the vertical bars, going behind the ear. I'm trying to go straight up as much as possible without having to dig into that back of the neck, the nape area. I don't want to have that line up in the back be too angled, so I'm trying to keep it as vertical as possible. And then right here, just curving it around the ear and connecting it to that sideburn area. And you know I had to switch up the camera angle on you. So let me know what you think about this camera angle right here. I really like it. It's a lot more close up. You could see better. My body's not in the way. My arm's not in the way. And you're going to get more of a visual on what I'm doing. So as you can see, I'm I'm not going too far into that back of the neck area. Trying to keep that line vertical. Get to the top of the ear and start that curve. So I try to start the curve about a quarter of the way up behind the ear. So like once I get to that halfway point on the top of the ear, I like to start curving it. So depending on how their hair is, you may have to curve it a little bit more than others, and depending on the head shape, that'll vary as well. Now we got to get, dude, don't look me in the eyes. Bro, that is so awkward. Don't look at me in the eyes. Just don't make that eye contact. Don't. Just don't do it, dude. Don't. Y'all know that feeling. If you're a barber, you know the eye contact feeling when you're lining somebody up. I was just brushing his hair down, hit it with the one guard, kind of getting the loose hairs and the stragglers, and then I hit it again with some got-to-be glued hairspray. Hit it with the blow dryer, dried those hairs up so they're crunchy, and I'll be able to tap these overgrown hairs and get a nice little crisp little lineup for the homie. So I always start in the middle. I go right and then I go left. Sometimes I go left, sometimes I go right, but I'm typically, starting to the right side, but whichever side you want to start at is up to you. And I like to keep the end of my lineup on the front, like that forehead line. I like to keep it maybe like a quarter inch away from the end of the eyebrows. So when I get that vertical bar, it's going to be in line with the end of his eyebrow. If that makes sense. So if you were to draw a straight line from that top left corner, following the angle of that vertical bar, it should hit right at the corner of his eyebrow. Some people have different hairlines, so it's not going to always be like that, but that's an aiming point for me most of the time. And now I'm just working on those C-cuts, trying to keep it as natural as possible. But if you're looking at his head right now, his right side, so to my left, is more grown in than the right side. So if you have that situation, what you're going to want to do, and what I should have done here, is you want to start at the side where it is the vertical bar, where it's shortest naturally. That way the one side will be natural, and if you have to bring up the other side just a little bit, or have to go into that hook and that curve, you do so only on the one side that needs it. Sometimes you can actually just get away with leaving the other side and hitting it with enhancements, but sometimes people want to have it even. So just assess if there's a longer vertical bar, or if that corner in the temple area is more grown in, and then you're going to want to start at the shorter bar. That way, both sides can be even. Or if you're going to hit it with enhancements, you can start with the longer bar and then kind of ghost and shadow the other C cup, and then you can fill the rest of that area in with enhancements, so the shorter side matches that longer bar side. I got a little distracted there, guys, but now I'm working on the goatee, working on his facial hair. He don't have much, but we're gonna get him together. So just trying to keep every line crispy, not going in too much onto the bars that are running vertical from the corner of his mustache down to his chin. Just trying to keep everything as symmetrical as possible, and trying to keep it as crispy as possible as well. Got to give him that buttery transformation. And just by doing this, I mean, he's already looking like a totally different person. I mean, obviously he looks different because he came in with long hair, but this right here, looking like a whole new person. And I know he ain't used to it because his reaction's great. So, we did our thing. He's looking crispy. And now it's time for the final touches. Going to hit him with a lineup. And then I'm going to be using my enhancements. So, I'm always making sure to keep that skin tight. And I'm going right up to the line. I'm not going further than where that line is made with the trimmer. And I'm not pushing down hard on the head. You don't need a lot of force when you're using a straight razor. Because then you can end up scratching people. That's how you'll cut little imperfections on his head, or you may hit a bump, and you have a lot bigger of a chance actually cutting somebody when you're using too much pressure. So let the weight of the actual straight razor rest on the skin, keep it tight, and let it do its work, and it'll work for you and come out crispy. And right here, I'm just using some Kiss spray mixed with alcohol. I do a 60% Kiss and 40% alcohol mix. I'm always trying different mixtures sometimes depending on what the my compressor is set to. I've got a compressor that goes up to 100 psi that I use, but I don't go over 30 with it. So depending on where I'm at with the compressor will determine how strong I mix the solution. But right here, I believe I've got a black. No, it's a dark brown mixture. I got a dark brown mixture in right now because of his skin tone. I try and match the spray as close as possible to the skin tone, but I also am considerate with the hair. Like, the darker the hair, I do like to use a darker spray, like a darker Kiss product, like black. But it kind of all depends. I assess it at the time, so it just depends on your preference, what you may think looks better, the color of the skin and the color of the hair. You don't want to be. I don't think you want it to have too much of a contrast because you want it to still look natural. But right here, just trying to match up the evenness with the two vertical bars. That right side right there that I just hit was the lower side, but he just looked at himself and couldn't believe the way he looked at the enhancements, because I mean, he's never had enhancements before. It's the first time. Can't believe that it's that crispy. So it was a pretty funny reaction. So we were just kicking it, laughing, having a good time. And right there, I'm just doing a little bit of spray on top just to fill in the that light area. When he had his hair back, it was parted, so there was a little split down the middle, but that's gone now because it's growing back. But that's the cut, guys. Look at that. Shit, baby. Woo, boy, it's fresh. So check it out. That's the blend. Got a nice taper. So taper gang, stand up. Razor gang, we did it. And that's the transformation, y'all. So that's how he's looking. And drop a comment. Let me know what you think. And if there's anything else you want to do or you want to see, let me know, guys. Tune in.